There's a couple different ways that Major League Baseball clubs can add talent. There's the draft, there's free agency, there's even going to other countries and signing talent there. And then last but not least, there's trading your best player in exchange for a few solid pieces and some top-end prospects. In the offseason of 2018, we saw star first baseman Paul Goldschmidt get shipped away from his team, the Arizona Diamondbacks, to the St. Louis Cardinals in exchange for Carson Kelly and Luke Weaver, who in my opinion had really good 2019s, and Carson Kelly looks to be a really good catcher going forward, so in my opinion, both teams won. What we're gonna do in today's video is we are gonna try and get ahead of the curve. I've been looking at so many rumors, I've been looking at trade possibilities that could involve superstars in the next couple months before the 2020 season starts, and we're going to try and pinpoint each and every single team that is trying to get these players based off a couple different things. There's what the team needs, and then obviously what they can get back in return. So it's going to be a really fun video. Make sure that you guys leave a like if you want to see more in-depth Major League Baseball videos like this. If you want to use code Fuzzy on SeatGeek to save $20 off, that would be awesome. Without further ado, let's start talking baseball and the trades that could turn around a franchise for the next 5 to 10 years. I'm not sure why the Chicago Cubs would be looking to trade Kris Bryant, but his name has been in trade rumors since the All-Star break of this last season, and he is not happy about it. He's actually using it to fuel his motivation to get better and better and better, but we're talking about a Rookie of the Year, an MVP. Kris Bryant has a career 901 OPS. That is not easy to do in one single season, let alone over the course of 4 to 5 seasons. This guy is special. I think that he is going to be a great trade piece considering he can play multiple positions, and in my opinion, a Kris Bryant trade to the Braves would make so much sense because I don't think that they are going to pay Josh Donaldson. They gave him that 1-year deal, he exceeded it, and now he's going to require even more money. So if they can get Kris Bryant by sending away a few pieces, maybe Ender Inciarte, Max Fried in a package for Kris Bryant, I think Braves fans would do that every single day. And if you can imagine a lineup with Ronald Acuna Jr., Freddie Freeman, and Kris Bryant along with the other pieces, I think that they would instantly become one of the most complete teams in all of baseball. Now, they were that same team in 2018, and the Cardinals, they had something to say about that. So hopefully a spark plug in Kris Bryant would mean that that would not happen again, as the Cardinals, they beat the Braves, and then they got their you-know-what beat by the Nationals. Cardinals fans, do not take offense to that. I still think that you have a really good team, and we're actually going to talk about the Cardinals in just a second. But for right now, we're going to focus on Corey Seager, who back in the day, back in 2016 and 2017, this guy was considered one of the best shortstops in all of baseball. He was rivaling Francisco Lindor. You have Manny Machado at the time, and then we also have Carlos Correa. All of these guys were in the cream of the crop of best shortstops, but he is a high risk, high reward because ever since he won that Rookie of the Year, he hasn't really been able to show the league that he can duplicate that same success. He had 26 home runs and an 877 OPS back in 16 when he won Rookie of the Year, but the last 2 seasons, it's been kind of a letdown due to injury. He did lead the National League with 44 doubles last season, so he has shown some promise, but I think, again, it's a high risk, high reward, and I think the Yankees and the Indians would both take that on considering they have Didi Gregorius for the Yankees and Francisco Lindor, who might not be on the team after this next season due to his contract. So if you can get a player like Corey Seager in return, who has one of the highest ceilings in all of baseball, I think that those two teams, again, the Indians and the Yankees, considering the pieces that they have, they would try and make a deal for Corey Seager because he has the name, he's shown that he can be an MVP candidate, and if he can return back to that, it's a win-win for all teams. Francisco Lindor is the most prized player on this list, or maybe the second most prized player right behind Mookie Betts, who we will be talking about in today's video. But if you are another team in Major League Baseball, you're going to try and do everything to get Francisco Lindor on your team because he makes a random game in May and June look like a playoff game. He's always smiling. He's always having fun. He lifts up his teammates and makes them play better. Now, if we're talking about just attitude, yes, Francisco Lindor is the best of the best. He's exciting. There's nothing to not love about him. But then there's the stats. He almost has a 30 WAR in 4.5 seasons, which is insane. He's going to hit you anywhere from 30 to 40 home runs with 20 to 30 stolen bases, and he's going to play you elite defense as he just won his 4th straight Gold Glove. Now, the only problem is he plays for Cleveland, and Cleveland is not the richest ball club in the game, so look for them to try and sell, although the GM just came out and said that he should be the starting shortstop for the Indians, but I don't really trust that as an Indians fan, and I can tell you, I think that he would look great in a Dodgers uniform, and I also think that he would look great in a Yankees uniform. And the reason why I say those two teams is because they have the most to offer. The Dodgers have Gavin Lux, they have Tony Gonsolin, Dustin May, and the Yankees, they could ship away Didi Gregorius, because it seems like the Yankees fan base is off the wagon of both Didi Gregorius and Miguel Andujar, who we will talk about in today's video as well. But those two players, I think that they might get shipped away as well. Francisco Lindor, he could be in that deal too. So if you're a Yankees fan, I want you to close your eyes and imagine this lineup. You have Francisco Lindor, DJ LeMahieu, Gleyber Torres, and Aaron Judge, all as a 1, 2, 3, 4 punch, with Gio Urshela and Mr. Giancarlo Stanton somewhere in that mix. That lineup is not fair. And we haven't even talked about Gary Sanchez. So in the comment section down below, I want you guys to let me know, where do you think Francisco Lindor is going to be playing in 2020? Do you think he's going to be on the Dodgers because they have the most amount of pieces? Do you think that the Yankees will splurge and go for him as well? Or do you think that he will be the starting shortstop for the Indians yet again? It's tough to say. Mookie Betts is at the center of trade talks right now because the Boston Red Sox, they have not really spent their money that well. They have so much salary tangled up in David Price, who's injury prone, Chris Sale, and then Nathan Eovaldi. They also just re-signed JD Martinez, so that's a lot of money. I think they're going to give some to Rafael Devers, Xander Bogaerts, so they don't have enough to go around. At this point, it's just bad timing, making Mookie Betts the odd man out. So what we're going to do is we're going to talk about two mystery teams that would benefit greatly from having Mookie Betts on their squad. And this first one might surprise you guys, but I have seen it both in trade rumors and something that when I look at it on the table, I think that it is the most fair trade that you can possibly make. Mookie Betts to the Colorado Rockies. Imagine this. Yes, the Boston Red Sox would have to give away their best player and perennial MVP in Mookie Betts, but considering their salaries, it almost has to be done. So why not get the most amount of talent in return? And the Rockies, I think that they can do that because you would get Charlie Blackmon. I think that would have to happen. You put Charlie Blackmon in left field to mask his defense. Maybe move Andrew Benintendi to right field because his arm is pretty solid. He's got some speed. He can cover some ground. We saw DJ LeMahieu go to the Yankees and rake, so I don't know if you can apply the Coors Field effect to Charlie Blackmon just yet. We got to see him in an American League ballpark. I think that when you add him to the squad, as well as top prospect Brendan Rodgers and maybe even John Gray, who honestly, I've seen glimpses of John Gray that looks absolutely insane. So if you are the Boston Red Sox and you are in need of starting pitchers as well as a starting outfielder to eventually replace Mookie Betts, it's inevitable that he probably is going to leave or get traded. Why not have Charlie Blackmon, who rakes, and then maybe add a top-end prospect in Brendan Rodgers, who hit .350 in AAA last season, who could play second base? I think that's pretty fair, right? Now, I did talk about how there should be two mystery teams in play for Mookie Betts. First off was my pick, the Colorado Rockies, just because I think the Rockies have the best package. And then second, the St. Louis Cardinals, they're probably going to lose Marcell Ozuna in free agency. So when you have Dexter Fowler and Harrison Bader in your outfield, sure, that's great for defense, but offensively, that is not going to cut it. So if you can add Mookie Betts, that's a win for the Cardinals. And then if the Boston Red Sox can get a starting pitcher in return, I don't know if you could get Jack Flaherty, but if you could go with Miles Mikolas or even Dakota Hudson, I think the Red Sox, they might take the bait on that one. But let me know, of all the trades that you've seen so far in the video, what do you think makes the most sense? At this point, I think we've pretty much wrapped up with talking about the superstars that could get traded going forward. Now what we're going to do is we will shift into the lesser players. They're still stars and they can make an impact wherever they go. Kyle Schwarber of the Chicago Cubs and Miguel Andujar of the New York Yankees, they have both been talked about for a few months in regards to being traded to a different team. So it's crazy that the Cubs, they have Schwarber and Kris Bryant, and both of those guys have been involved in a good amount of trade rumors. So I think that we're in for yet another very annoying offseason with all these rumors. I don't mean to contribute to it, but I just want you guys to know going forward, you're going to see these players and a bunch of rumors, so you heard it here first. It's going to be annoying. One team that I think would benefit the most from either of these players is the Los Angeles Angels. I am craving a Mike Trout postseason. If you guys did not know, Mike Trout only has 7 playoff at-bats. That is just that's blasphemy. I need Mike Trout back to the playoffs, and I think that Kyle Schwarber or Miguel Andujar as a DH for the Angels, that would actually work out, but then again, there is Albert Pujols, so who knows how that would work. They tried last year with Justin Bour, and it failed miserably. I don't even think that he even played 50 games. Either way, he was atrocious. But imagine a world where the LA Angels were able to sign Garrett Cole, because he's been linked to the West Coast. He's talked about wanting to go back there. I'm not really too sure what's happening with Garrett Cole. That's another another video for another day, but imagine trading for Kyle Schwarber with 38 home runs, 92 RBIs, and an 871 OPS last year, and also signing Garrett Cole. That would instantly make the Angels a whole lot better and maybe even able to attack the A's. Definitely not the Astros just yet. Now what's crazy is as I'm recording this video, a tweet just came out from someone saying that in the Yankees clubhouse, they're trying to get Miguel Andujar back on the team and find another place for him to play, which I'm not too sure where he could play because Gio Urshela, he had great defense and he was hitting just as well as Andujar, so I think that he's still the odd man out. I'm not sure how much you would have to give up if you were the Angels, but let me know in the comment section down below. If you're a fan of any baseball club, would you want Kyle Schwarber or Miguel Andujar on your team? And then let me know, what would you give up to get them, or do you not want either of them? The last two players on this list, they're kind of fringe stars. I don't know if you can consider them stars because they're so up and down. They both have had roller coaster careers. The first guy I want to talk about is Blake Treinen. I think that him going to the Boston Red Sox would be an absolutely clutch trade for them because their bullpen and starting pitchers were so bad. So if they traded away Mookie Betts for a starting pitcher and then also got Blake Treinen, that would make a huge difference in both the culture of the Boston Red Sox as well as the fans trying to support their general management, because honestly the 2019 trade deadline was the biggest fail that I've seen in quite some time, and if I was a Red Sox fan I would still be mad. But if you can get Blake Treinen, who had a solid career up until his breakout 2018 when he had a .78 ERA. He finished 6th in the Cy Young. When you have a relief pitcher in the top 10 for Cy Young, that is ridiculous. But he regressed with control in 2019 as his ERA rose to 4.91. But the A's, they find closing pitchers like it's their day job. They've had Andrew Bailey, Houston Street, Liam Hendricks, all of these guys, they just fill in effortlessly. So I think the A's, they would be fine. They could just plug in another piece. The Red Sox, they would get Treinen, and I think honestly a win-win for both teams if the Red Sox would have to ship away maybe a second to third round pick or a mid-level prospect. I don't think that you'd have to give away your best pieces. Maybe give away Rudy Castillo. He's been the best player in AAA for quite some time, but that contract, still really bad, but just give him away. Go. Be free, Castillo. And then last but not least, we have a guy that played in baseball purgatory, Jonathan Villar of the Baltimore Orioles. The perfect trade for him would be to the San Diego Padres. He played in 162 games in 2019, which is what the Padres need. They have a lot of injury concerns, but in 2019, Villar had 24 home runs and 40 stolen bases. Back in 2016, he hit just 19 home runs, but stole 62 bags. So could you imagine if the Padres were able to move on from Luis Urias? Because let's face it, I don't think that he is the answer, neither is Ian Kinsler. But the power speed threat of Tatis Jr., Jonathan Villar, and Will Myers, that would be insane. And we haven't even talked about Hunter Renfroe with his power and Manny Machado with his overall offensive abilities. Jonathan Villar to the Padres would be so much fun. Alright guys, well that is going to do it for today's video. Now the one thing I do want to end is that rumors have come out from baseball executives that one of the three superstars that we talked about in today's video, Francisco Lindor, Kris Bryant, and Mookie Betts, one of them will be traded. So I'm excited to see who is going to be the Paul Goldschmidt of 2019-2020. Is it going to be Lindor? Is it going to be Betts? Is it going to be Kris Bryant? As an Indians fan, I'm hoping it's not Lindor. But thank you all so much for watching. Again, do not forget to use code FUZZY on SeatGeek. Save yourself $20, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out.